we found another brother. We went after his course, and he beat us for $5,000.
Right.
It was never a program.
In terms of, you have the 5,000 and he ran, you done, it's over.
Right. First sale was a $50 buy, sold on eBay for $750.
Right.
Now, what's the biggest deal you guys have done so far?
The biggest one is acquisition that we have right now for $3.4 million. The sell price on that particular property is about $12 million. 3.5
12 million
to 12 million.
Deal.
Yeah, in one deal.
What's going on, you guys? We got another one for you today, man. We got an exciting episode. This is an episode I've been looking forward to for
sure.
Man,
this guy's been talking about this one, so you know it's gonna be a good one.
I've been talking about it for a long time, man. If any of you guys been following us for a while, you know that we're big on investing into physical assets, particularly land. You know, we've been looking at some land deals ourselves, getting into land ourselves. But today we have an amazing episode with two amazing individuals who specialize in land acquisition, land flipping, the whole 9 yards. We got Ray and Jay, the AcreBoyzz.
AcreBoyzz.
So I guess let's start off with a little bit of backstory, how you guys met each other, and then also how did you guys get into the land space as a whole?
Okay. We've been moving around for a long time. I've known him for a long time. We have another mutual friend that me and him met through as well. And you know, basically what we were doing is running around. We were trying to figure out something that works, and we were running around doing all kind of different things. Some stuff, you know, a little shady. Other stuff was,
hey,
was good. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Started a lot of different businesses.
You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. Different businesses. But I guess what we realized at that point is we were saying to ourselves, like, you know, you can't always jump into the next frame. So what we started to do is we started to just move forward and say, you know, what will happen if we're going to sit down and actually learn something that was going to do something for us? So we've been looking around for opportunities. So we're looking around and we find land, and we first started with our tax deeds. Tax deeds was the first, our first source of running into land. So we ran into some guys that showed us actually.
Let's stop there.
Okay.
Because when we was running around, we call it sucker mode.
Sucker mode. I like that.
We were doing things to where we were always like the third wheel. We never was really in control.
Initiating anything. We were just right.
And the people that we were dealing with, they were fair to us. You know, they always gave us what we were supposed to get, which was always a small portion of the whole. And finally, we said, we just need to be in control.
Take in control.
We need to be in control of our deals. And it's foreign in our community to pay for anything. So like he said, when we said what can we do, we started. We looked at the credit repair. Not the credit repair.
Buying a zombie that the delinquent accounts. Delinquent accounts.
So the first thing that we said was, which was out of the norm for us. Let's go hire an attorney and let him break this down for us. So we hired an attorney who was about $500 an hour. And at the time, we were far into paying for any now. So
a lot of people are today.
Sure, absolutely.
So we like 500. Like, he better tell us. He better give us the cheat
everything.
Code,
And in an hour. And in an hour.
Better give up everything.
Right.
I need a masterclass with this.
Right.
So after we had that meeting, we kind of left out there. You know when you have a long meeting and you leave out and you feel like what just happened?
Right. You don't really know what happened.
We
You just
kind of realized that it was going to be a lot of work involved in this. You know, they always tell you what can go wrong.
This is a debt game.
Right. Debt game. Yes.
So we were like, soon as we paid the $500, we left out of there and we were feeling like, man, I don't know about that.
Not sure.
Can we?
Not sure.
Too much to chew.
What we did at that point, we said, look, we ain't gonna, we're not gonna put our guns away. We're gonna bust our gun again. Let's find something else to invest in. And we found another brother. We went after his course, and he beat us for $5,000. He beat us for $5,000. And
That's shame, man. In terms of, did you actually, were you able to access the program, or was it just not?
There was never a program.
In terms of, You have the 5,000, and he ran. You're done. It's over.
I'm saying, I gotta be careful out there, man.
Right.
And this is for the debt game or for the land game?
No,
this is something completely different. Right.
And we paid him $5 grand because now we was in a space of like, look, we want to work on ourselves.
Ready to go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And we ready. We learned that you have to pay to play.
Sure.
So he beat us out of the $5 grand. Now we had an option of doing one or two things. We could have tucked our tail and packed it in and say, yo,
like, you know what, it's not worth it.
Right.
And we got beat out of that. Let's just tuck it in. And we just say, yo, look, we didn't do anything wrong. And I will. We'll take the blame for, because in hindsight, we didn't do a thorough investigation.
The signs were there that he could have been a little shady, but we ignored him because we believed it so much. You know what I mean?
So we started looking into the tax deed game, and we found some guys that was giving a course on the tax deed games, and that was like another $4,200 right after we had just lost the 5. But
those hurt in the early stages.
In the early.
One thing I gotta commend y'all on, and period, is the fact that you continue to reinvest into yourselves. Regardless of what happened, the fact is that you recognize that you needed to invest into yourself in order to get to the next level. And that right there, I think is one of the key. I feel like that is one of the key indicators of successful people in general, because you are your best asset. You know what I'm saying? We always try to go find ways to invest in all these other assets except for ourselves. We pay the biggest dividend.
Yes, absolutely.
His thing is, and we still say it to this day, is well, go back to what? What are we going back to?
What are you going back to? There's no place but forward. Going back there, that's not going to do it.
I mean, what was back there, which was just a bunch of moving around, coming up with nothing. Short rent, wasn't really making long that was putting a dent in anything.
Right.
So we got the tax deed course, and we studied the tax deed course. They taught us the tax deed course. Now the tax deed course was very interesting because we did really well in the tax deed space. We bought hundreds and hundreds of tax deeds. We were buying tax deeds for $50, and we would sell the tax deeds from anywhere from $1,400 to $1,500. So those was our flips. Our first ever tax, $50 tax.
Wow, that's something anybody can.
And I give you a funny story about that. We were completely unaware. This list, basically we were going to get these actual tax deeds. This list has been around forever. When we first initially got on the list, we were looking for things that had $20,000 value, whatever the case may be. And you were able to go on an over-the-counter list and go ahead and purchase an asset that's worth $20,000 for $100, $150. And this has been a game that's being played a long time. And these people were getting filthy rich on this thing for years.
And so, man, for the people who don't understand even what that means, right? Tax deed list, you're looking at essentially people who have fallen behind on their property taxes. The state,
the county has took the property back. The county state has took the property back for non-paid taxes.
Right.
Which is a process, and they give them forewarning. They send you get letters to your house saying late on your tax, you late on your taxes. If you don't pay, eventually they take the properties back.
So anybody that takes over essentially reclaims the property.
Well, what happens is once the county get the property back, they have a tax sale auction.
Right.
Now you have one of three things that you can do. You can go to the live tax sale auction, and you can bid on the tax. You get the sweetest properties at the
live one.
auction.
Yeah, right.
You're not catching a $50.
Right. At the live auction. That's not going to happen.
Everybody hungry.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
With thumb, even at a live tax sale auction is 10%. That's what we offer them. We offer 10% on the dollar for the properties, and it's going to go somewhere depending on how much they bid it up. It can go to 12, it can go to 15, but you selling still at 70% to 80%. So you're still making your money.
Right. The margins are there.
So now, you said the best deals are on the online side?
No, not necessarily the best. The best deals are at the actual tax auction.
At the live auctions. Right.
What happens? Things that don't sell at the live auction goes back on a list, which they call a repository list.
Right.
And the repository list, you can buy that over the counter. So we spent hours going through lists.
Combing lists, thousands of properties.
Essentially means what, like online listed somewhere you can purchase.
Right.
Repository list. Go to the repository list, choose what you want to buy.
Correct.
And buy it.
Correct.
Directly from there. You're buying it for less than 10% on the dollar, so 10 cents on the dollar. So if the property is worth $100,000, you're buying it for less than $10,000.
Less than 10,000.
Yeah.
But we didn't see those particular margins on that over-the-counter list because those margins are huge. You'll probably catch that. But you'll find things that you can buy for $100, $150, $200, maybe $1,000. Things that are worth $30, $20, $24,000. Yeah,
That's
stuff
a
like
sweet
that.
spot,
And that
man.
was
That's
that was the over.
Man's about to be all night. Repository tax deed list.
Right.
You know, ironically, is that every county has one.
Yeah.
Every county. I mean,
It's just not common knowledge. That's all. It's just not common
That's the
knowledge.
first
That's all.
cheat code right there.
Yeah.
Repository list.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it's 3,200 counties across the United States.
Yeah.
Every county pays taxes.
Right.
Where you live, everybody pays taxes.
Every single property.
Every single property.
And they default on tax.
At a rapid pace.
At a rapid pace.
Right.
Every county. Now, there are certain auctions that are better because each one has different rules of how they conduct their business. Not all have repository lists, first of all. So you have to just weed out which counties have the repository list. And we learned that from the course that we took. And
Go.
okay, I'll give a cheat code right now. Right now.
Do it. Let's do it.
Right.
If you want to go buy right now, it's not the same game, so you're gonna have to do some shifting through.
Some sifting. Yeah. Right.
Commissioner of State Land, Arkansas, is where you go. You can still buy properties right now for $150. You're probably only going to be able to sell them for $1,500, but
that's still
And right.
Of
state lands.
Specifically for Arkansas.
Specifically for Arkansas. Yeah.
COSL.org, Commissioner of State Land. And we just killed them there. We bought hundreds.
Commissioner of State Land.
And then just selling them to investors?
No, we sell them on our first sale. Let's talk about the first sale. Our first sale was a $50 buy. And you need proof of concept, right?
Right.
So I was working by trade. I was a stagehand, setting up concerts and things of that nature.
Oh, really?
That's what's up.
And it was a union job. 100,000. Just when you thought 100,000.
Right. Yeah.
You thought 100,000 was everything.
You thought you was rich. You made 100,000.
So working like a slave, mind you. You know what I mean? Just countless hours. In our first sale, I think I got the notification at least 12 o'clock. He's an early bird. He goes to bed like 8, 9.
Yeah.
So I got the notification like 12 o'clock. I sent him the text. It was a $50 buy. We sold it on eBay for $750.
Right.
So people buying property on eBay?
Yeah, sure.
Man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I did not.
Absolutely.
Look at land on
People
eBay.
buying
On eBay right now and just type in land for sale.
and all kind of stuff will pop
This
up.
is raw land that you guys are buying for $50.
And selling for 700.
And some for $750. Yeah.
You telling me that
That's how you know you about to say it. So you telling me
that you were able to buy land in America and actually own it. I'm not talking about like you got the tax. The tax. So you own the land
Right.
for $50
$50.
in the United States of America.
In the United States of
Now,
America.
how much? Let me ask you, how much land was this? How many square feet, acres was this?
The infill lots.
Yeah, infill lots mean like .30, .40,
Right.
.10.
That's in development.
Still.
Yeah, sure. It could be in a subdivision.
Tell people what is an infill lot?
Yeah,
real
what is
quick.
an infill lot? Yeah.
An infill lot is basically the smaller lots that houses are built on. The smaller lots that houses are built on, that's what we call infill lots. The larger acreage, they're not infill lots because they're so wide, so massive. So just the smaller houses.
Are typically found within city limits.
Yeah.
Typically don't.
Right.
Like single family homes and things like that will sit on
yeah,
them.
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So you were able to buy an infill lot, this was in Arkansas?
Arkansas, yeah.
For $50.
$50.
$50.
Tons of them.
Tons of
Whole bunch of them.
Man, just because somebody
Own a whole neighborhood
Didn't pay
for
taxes.
$5,000.
Right,
goddamn.
right,
You
right,
build a whole
right.
development for $5,000.
Right.
So look,
Interesting.
they kind of stay away from the hood stuff, right? Of
course.
It's money in the hood. So
course.
all
Always
these
has been.
properties, these were properties in the hood that we were getting for $50. But the people in the hood want to own things too, right?
Sure.
Right.
So that's why we were able to, what was so attractive about it was that they was buying land and, we were selling it to them for $1,500. It was kind of unheard of where I can get land for $1,500.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then it's certain guys that was wise guys that contacted us and said, I know you bought that land for $50. And I said, so?
And
My prices.
right, my price is my price. Yeah, right.
Yesterday's price.
It's not today's price. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact.
And the negotiation begins, and now he tried to beat you down off of 15, and so much room in the play that was, give me 11.
Right.
I'll play. I'll still be 10x.
Yeah, sure. Still.
How long you guys were able to do this for? I mean,
We did that for about 2 years. Yeah.
I mean, if you find a deal like that, you gotta do your.
And I wish we would have got onto it earlier, because
It's always
back
like
then,
that, though.
they would probably have things up there worth 50 or 100,000. You were picking those things up just for the taxes that were owed. That was it.
I can imagine those.
Yeah, you bought a few houses. Yeah, bought a few houses.
for like, what was the price that you be looking at on a house?
$100.
What?
No, it's $100. $150 probably.
This brings me back to. So I had seen.
Hey yo, somebody search up this website right now.
Yeah.
Man, what is it called?
Yeah,
Commissioner of State Land, Arkansas. Please say please.
Yeah, Commissioner State Land.
COSL.org. That's it. Yeah.
My only
So why
disclaimer
don't
now
we
is
do this anywhere else? Is it just?
no. We just did other places. That was just one.
That's just one.
One of the spots he just gave you.
Right.
One of the places where it's a hot spot.
But they no longer do it in other states, or they still do?
You said they still do
They
it.
still do it in every state. So you just look up the Commissioner of State Land in whatever county. Whatever.
No.
It's going to be different everywhere you go. It's going to be some repository list. Some will be called the over-the-counter
So this is
list.
still a repository list.
Yes.
Commissioner of State Land is still a repository.
Yes. Yeah. We were dealing with all repository over-the-counter list. That's all we were dealing with.
Here's the play with repository list. So when you take possession of a tax deed, you can't really pull money out of. Here's the play for it if you want to get involved in it.
Right.
Let's say you catch a house for $100, or you catch land for $50. Let's say the land is worth 10 grand, 8 grand, 10 grand, whatever the amount is. So when you get the deed, you do own it. You only get a quit claim deed. Quit claim deed is what they'll give you. In order to build on a house or to build on land, you have to have title insurance. So you have to quiet the title in order to be able to, once you quiet the title, you then can use that same deed to go to a bank and borrow off the amount of the land. So if the land is worth 10, you can go pull the money of what it's worth, but you have to quiet the title, which costs more than what you paid.
In order to get a warranty deed. So it's going from a quit claim deed to a warranty deed, which means chain the title, everything is perfect. Now I can go ahead and transfer this property without any liens or encumbrances over to who the buyer is.
So I'm gonna guess, like when you're quieting the title, there's a certain gap, right? Like a certain time frame that you have to get rid of the property within. You can't quiet the title for X amount of days or years or months or anything like that. Right?
Okay, well, here's how it goes. When you quiet the title, what happens is, let's just say for a tax sale standpoint, once the property goes to a tax sale, and let's say we have a buyer over here, in the middle of that, because the chain of title was broken because the county took possession, they call that a break in the chain of title. The only thing that's going to fix that is what you call like a quiet title action. That's the only thing that's going to fix it. So when that quiet title action happens, it repairs the chain that's been broken, which makes it easier for me to go ahead and sell it to somebody else, and they can put a house, they can do whatever they want.
Because title companies won't insure
a quick claim deed.
Properties.
A quick claim deed, they won't insure it. Yeah.
So you got. So let me ask this: what does that process look like capital-wise? So if you buy a property for $100, you acquire the title, you get it, to the point where there's no liens, encumbrances, et cetera, et cetera. How much does that typically cost to get it to the point where now you can go to a lender and take out a loan against that property?
Quiet title. It all depends on how much you're going to sell the property, on what they're going to charge you to quiet the title. We've seen it. The cheapest we've seen it was $2,200 to quiet the title. So if for us, we never quieted any title because we were paying $50.
Right. It didn't make sense at that point.
It cost us more to quiet the title. But depending on the land or the home that you get, like if you're catching, because there are some nice homes up there, but you're not getting those for $50. So if you catch one that's worth $50 and you may be getting it for 15 grand, you should definitely quiet the title, pay the extra $2,500, and that'll put you about 17. Now, once you have a warranty deed, that property you can sell for full value of the 50. Because sellers that know the game, they're not going to pay retail price for a quick claim deed. They'll pay retail price for
a warranty deed. Definitely, definitely.
I'll give it a masterclass.
Definitely.
So this is it. So all right, now let me ask y'all this: when y'all got into the game, so y'all invested into your education, right? You've got the game. Clearly, y'all got the game, right? So what was the process like going from the repository flipping to where you guys are now?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I think the transition was. The transition was we're making the same money. We're doing a lot of deals, but the money isn't large enough for us. So we start looking for other things to do inside of that space that's going to make the pot a little bigger. So we stumbled across another method of going directly to the seller. So to make a long story short, what we do is we go ahead through data sources. We go ahead and pull county records, assessors data. So let's just say in a certain area, I'm looking for in between 10 to 20 acres in a certain area. I can go based off of that data source, look for all the property owners in between that acreage. I get all the pertinent information to their property. It's just like filter. Yeah, it's like a filter.
Y'all use something like that?
I've heard of it's similar. I know what you're talking about. It's similar to PropStream. It's similar to PropStream. So basically, I can take out anything that I want, and I can just leave in the bulk of what I want to mail. Once we go ahead, we'll put together offers at about, depending on what the market is. Right now, we're doing offers about 25% on the dollar. So let's just say I have a price point that I want to send out. What we do from there is we go ahead and send mail out to the actual direct mail out to the actual homeowner. They decide if they want to sell. They'll give us a call, and we start negotiating the deal from there.
Well, before we got to the acres, me and him joked, and it was like, we bought so many of these small properties.
Right.
We usually said, we just want an acre.
Right. Right. That's an acre. Right.
And,
That's like the next big step.
That's like the next step. Right.
They didn't offer.
Right. That kind of stuff. Right.
You decided to just go straight direct to seller.
Sure.
So we decided to go straight to seller because we were looking at the tax sale auction, and there's a date before it goes back to the county. So we said, why don't we start trying to contact these homeowners, and before the state takes it back, let us try to contact them and see if you'll sell it to me. I'll pay the back taxes, because sometimes they lose their property to the state for pennies. Maybe $200 some people let it go for.
Right.
So we said, let's try to contact them beforehand.
See if you can pick it up.
Sure.
But what happens is, that's a lot of mail, a lot of handwriting, and sending it out.
Made the process.
And you're gonna fall asleep on that really, really quick.
Right.
Can't contact them enough.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So when we started pulling data, data offered us a huge mailing list, and that was just a lot easier. And then,
Sure.
Phones and once you send out 10,000 letters or something like that, you get back 100 responses. They call it. It's very similar. It's like wholesaling houses almost.
Almost.
It's in the wholesale game.
It's a little high. If you send out 10,000, if you send out a successful mailer of 10,000, you should at least get back at least six or seven deals.
That's solid. That's solid. That's solid. And so you guys getting acres now. So now you basically. What you guys do now is essentially purchase the land directly from the owners.
That is
Let's
correct.
talk about when we first got to direct mail campaigning. To be honest, we were just so gung-ho to be in the game. We took the course and probably fucked the course up, to be honest.
Oh man, yeah, tell us about that. That's perfect. That's a perfect lead-in from losses to lessons, and then lessons to legacy. Let's break that down.
The first few pieces that we bought, we totally didn't do a full inspection of it. We bought shit that was in a flood zone. We bought things that we probably wouldn't buy now. Definitely wouldn't.
But we bought things next to a sewage plant too, because we were just happy to be in the game. So we're running 100 miles an hour.
You guys you're not physically going to the properties and looking at them. These are things you're looking at online.
Online, right.
Resources of how we can view properties without
Sure.
And even that game goes a little deeper. We'll get to that too. But initially, it's a Google Earth.
Yeah, I was about to say
Satellite.
Right, satellite.
Google Earth will give you a good understanding of what's going on in the area. Google Maps will give you a good understanding, and in many cases, if they surveyed the area, you can drop right down in front of that property and get an image of what's going on in there. So those are some of the tools that we use, as well as realtors. I mean, that's
Major resource. Major resource.
Because they can go check out the property for you.
And they're familiar with the market and they're familiar with the area. Absolutely.
So our first few pieces, I think one of our first pieces was a 5 acre.
5 acre.
We got the 5 acre. We were like, oh, and it was a shitty buy. It was a shitty 5 acre. And
Yes, it was. Yes, it
really
was.
bad area.
What was the location and how much did it cost?
We paid for that 5 acre about $7,000.
Yeah, about 7,000. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. About 7,000. Yeah.
We listed it for $15,500 out the gate, and I think it sold for like 13, even at a bad property. So
Yeah. Right.
That's
Yeah.
so, and you guys aren't buying and holding these properties. You guys are just flipping them straight up and down and continue to roll that cash over into new properties.
yeah, and
Currently.
like a crack house.
Currently.
Not like a crack house.
In and out.
Currently, we get them in and putting them out. Getting them in, putting them out. Yeah.
Fast as we can.
Yeah, fast as we can.
We bought a lot of properties, and the longest we ever held onto a property was 8 months, and the fastest we ever sold one was 1 day.
Right.
So what is the flip? So when you look at the overall ROI of your business currently, right? In 1 year, you guys are flipping just about how many deals, and what does that ROI look like? You know, cash flow wise.
That's wise. Okay.
Well,
So
it cost us last year. We spent about $85,000 on mail, and I think
You're
we
reaching
seen
a lot of people.
yeah. The breach.
85 on mail, and I think that 85 yielded us about 575.
Yeah, about 575, 550. Yeah, outside. And I don't even know exactly what the ROI is, but I know it's high. right.
Yeah, I mean, that's well over 500. That's a 5-time flip.
Right.
Flip your money 5x on that. You know what I
right.
mean? So, and the only other expense on that really is just what, phone calls and
Phone calls,
VAs.
we
I'm
have a-
assuming.
V-
It is
we
a
got-
business. You have to set up that as a business. You have some business calls. We do work with VAs.
Sure, we have a call center that takes the calls because we're not taking them. We're not taking them. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I don't have time for that. Yeah, for sure. I don't have time for that.
You don't take any calls at all, or do you?
No, we used to in the beginning, but now we're to a place where we outsource that too. Yeah, outsource that. I can't be on, and it's so time consuming. What we do now is we sit and we pick counties and understand why to put the mail in certain places. So basically, what we're doing all day is studying the data. That's what it
We call
is.
back the good deals.
Yeah.
Not a good deal.
That's the way to do it. Spend your time doing the most valuable.
Right. Because there's a lot of garbage that comes back. Of course, like with anything, people are going to call with properties that are landlocked or properties that may be near sewage plants, like we were talking about. And those are the ones we pass by. But all the good ones, we get on the phone with them, and those are the people we spend our time with because they're calling saying, "I'm ready to sell."
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to talk to them immediately.
And what's that experience? I'm assuming most of the places you guys are calling, these are places that are rural.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What
Yes,
is that
sir.
experience like with you guys?
Yes, sir.
Talking to them. I'm sure you guys are from
New York. We're from Long Island, New York.
Long Island.
Yeah.
You New Yorkers for real.
Right.
You guys pick up the phone.
Not the Hamptons.
Right. Yeah. Definitely not the Hamptons.
You guys are talking to guys from Arkansas, from
Mississippi, Louisiana, Iowa. Yeah, these kind of places.
What is that experience like?
It's very, very interesting. You know, this business is really about personality types.
Yeah.
You know, once you identify, and you've done it for a while, you identify the personality types, and you know exactly how to deal with the person. We understand temperament. I know when a person's angry. I know when they want to make a decision, but they, have to consult with their, let's just say their wife or sister or whatever the case may be. So once you understand the temperament of these people, it becomes easy to deal with it and match the energy. If they're loud, talk loud. If they're soft, talk a little softer. Everybody resonates with who's like themselves. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. They have a Southern twang and everything like that, but one thing they understand is, and we're solving a need because some of these people, they're in real situations where they need money. They need money. They need certain things. We've been people who were going to get surgery and didn't have money for certain things. So we come in and fill the void, and they get what they want, and we get what we want, and and they really thank you. Yeah.
I mean, so let's talk about why, because a lot of people want to know why.
Right.
Why would somebody sell their land for 25% on the dollar?
Right.
I mean, and there's several factors, but the most common ones is, you know, they're not using the land, or it was inherited. I got it from my father. I moved away. Right. I'm never going back down there. I was going to build on the land. I'm not anymore.
Right. Trusts are really big for us too, because when the lawyers get involved, they like to liquidate all the assets that are inside of the trust. So what happens is the attorneys, a lot of times that we've dealt with, really don't care what the property goes for. They just want to move it off of their books. They have to move it off their books. Yeah, for sure.
How do you identify those people though? Like,
it's all in the data. It's all in the data. So basically, all like
they live in trust.
Live in trust stuff. So we leave there's a lot of things that we take out, like government land. You're not going to get anything from the government. We scrape all of that out of our actual data. So we'll keep people, we'll keep corporations, we'll keep trusts, you know, different things like that, which will increase our opportunity. Once we send out a mass, increase our opportunity of something coming back.
Man, everything. It seems like the general message is like just increasing your probability every single where you go through data. Yeah, numbers, man, numbers. Yeah,
numbers. The more property you get, the more money we make.
Sure.
We didn't start making really good money in the land space until we got better at our craft. Because there's certain things, and we'll give out. This is a cheat code if you're ever thinking about getting into the land space. It's an acronym called FACTS, and if you ever come and study under us, that would be one of the things, a major thing that we will be teaching.
Sure.
FACTS stands for what you want to look out for when acquiring any land, and that's for anybody, whether that's tax sale or whether that's through direct mail. First thing is FACTS. The F is for flood zone. We try to avoid flood zone. A is for access, and you got to make sure it's accessible
from the road. Right.
It's two ways to have access. You can have legal access and you can have physical access, and they're two separate things.
Right.
So we got to check off the A for access, and the C is comparables. We have to go make sure what we buying comps with other things that's in the area, and we're getting it at the right price.
The right value,
Yeah. And the T is topography. We want to know what's on the land, you know.
How slopey it is. Is it flat? Is it, right.
Any structures on the land, anything that's left behind, is it, you know what I mean? And the S is for slope. We don't want to buy anything that has too much slope on it.
Right. Because we'll get properties sometimes, let's say it's 20 acres, 30 acres. There's a ditch coming in off of the road that drops down like 15, 20 feet. And in order to get that filled, it's very, very expensive. Costs a lot of money to get that stuff filled, you know what I mean? So those things we stay away from. Now, if it's flat in the front and it drops off on the back, let's say if it's 10 acres, let's say in total, the 5 acres is usable, and that slope on the back is not really usable. So we'll give them a price for 5 acres as opposed to 10, because the other 5 is not usable. You know what I mean?
Now we're a little more experienced, a lot more experienced, so we'll even look at a property that's wet and just see what proportion of the property is wet. Because we're looking at one, in fact, we looked at one today, the front side of the property that was from the road, that had road frontage, had a home on it, but the back side, it was a 23 acre, and 3/4 of the property was wet, and 5 acres were usable. So we called the guy back and we said, well, I can't use the property. And they know.
They know. They know. Right.
I flat out told him, I said, hey, look, we took a look at the property. The majority of the property, it comes back wet. And he said, are you sure? I said, I'm positive. 3/4 of the property.
And you did this without using the surveyor or anything like that? You just
the software that we use.
It lets you know everything.
That you use. There's something that we say a lot in our community. What we teach is literally, we call it CERTs. Community education resources and tools, right? So if you want to set yourself up for success, make sure you have the right community, make sure you've invested in your education, make sure you have the best resources available to you to find information and process information, and the best tools to be able to, master your craft, to execute your craft. And so this is a prime example of that, right? You guys are sitting from the luxury and the comfort of your own home, and nice air conditioning, being able to detect the property without even stepping.
And you got somebody who's physically there, like, hey, how'd you know?
And on top of that, you can't be duped, right? Because now you got people. I'm assuming a large part of, the risks involved in land investing, land flipping would come from things like that, right? Buying in the wrong areas, buying and not knowing things. But once you have the right resources, the right tools to avoid that, you guys are a testament to that success.
Absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people want to wonder, right? Where are you finding the buyers to buy these properties? Especially, I'm assuming they're all over, the United States and stuff like that. So, how are you building the buyers is to be able to sell land in different places?
Right. Okay, so there's a couple of different resources that we use. One thing that's been big for us is Facebook Marketplace. That's been pretty big for us. And depending on how much work we're going to do, we'll go ahead and look for land-specific realtors who know the area and usually have specialists. But pretty much, and they know the area, and usually a lot of times they have buyers that are looking for certain things. So they, once the property come in, they'll hit their list and they know exactly who to market it to. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much, before when we first started, we were doing everything. We were getting the pictures done, hiring photographers, getting the pictures done and all that. And then we got to a point where it was like, why not outsource all of that? Give them a piece,
so you can sleep
and
well
not do the work.
Yeah.
Well, what are we doing here? Yeah, right.
Well, free resources is when you first acquire a property. Zillow is a free resource that's excellent, and Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
And you can
I'll
also
probably hit y'all up for a couple pieces.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find land for a long time.
He been talking about Facebook Marketplace, man. He always be talking about them Facebook groups that are actually valuable. Like there's value communities in Facebook.
And
Man.
you can also pay to put your property on multiple listing without a realtor.
Right. Yeah, you can do that too.
I've seen a couple different places. I've been looking for land, different websites and stuff that literally just sell land on, almost like Zillow, but strictly for land.
For land, yeah. You have Land and Farm. You have Lands of America. You have have a bunch of them. Yeah, that just specialize in that. Yeah.
Once you're in the space, it's a lot of things that probably the common person that's not in the space just wouldn't know about.
Right.
There's a lot of land-specific sites.
Now, what's the biggest deal you guys have done so far?
Okay. Yeah, the biggest one that we've done.
That one made him smile. Right? You know this one's gonna be good. He said, He saw cha-ching.
The biggest one is acquisition that we have right now for $3.4 million.
Oh man.
The sell price on that particular property is about 12 million. About 12 million. Yeah, about 12 million. 12 million. 3.5 to 12 million. To 12 million. Yeah, in one deal.
Oh man.
So you guys would stand to make over $8-9 million.
Once we break it with our investors, we'll probably do about 4.5, 5, somewhere in there. Yeah. Right.
In a second, can I hold a dollar? Damn.
What? On one deal?
On one deal. This is a
walk us through that deal.
Yeah. This is a special kind of deal because it's not just land.
This is major cheat code right here. This is big boy cheat code.
This property is 260 acres. 260 acres. It has a 15,000-foot square property on it with an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
That's a mansion.
It also has 4 other residential homes on it as well, and 3 industrial buildings on it as well. And on top of that, it has mineral rights to it as well. And mineral rights to it as well.
With active oil.
With active oil. Did you guys know this before you purchased it?
No, we didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Man, what a
really? So you guys found out after you purchased it that it actually had active oil on it.
Yeah. So the seller, so here's the thing. As with any business, whether it's just stocks, it's lands, or whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be in the game just to stand a chance to win, right?
Sure.
Definitely.
Sure.
So when we we contacted this seller, he responded to a letter 9 months ago.
Oh, so this was through a letter.
This is through a letter. Yeah.
Man, that's
Everything is through a letter. Everything. Yeah.
He hit us back 9 months ago, and he said, look, you guys sent, the 260 acres is spread across 11 parcels, right? We sent the letter about 1 parcel. He contacted us and said, look, I'm interested in selling, but I want to sell the whole thing. I don't want to sell this one piece. And at the time, we thought that the deal just was
too good to be true.
Not even necessarily too good to be true. It's just we hadn't done a deal of that size.
And of that magnitude. Yeah.
Kind of was like,
might be too much responsibility.
Yeah. A lot to go with it. Yeah.
We looked at the property, we saw it was prime property, and we was like, this is probably too good to be true. On to the next call. So we kind of just left it alone.
Right.
And 8 months later, we sent more mail back to the same county, and he contacted us a second time, and he says, look, I want to sell the property, but I got to sell it the whole thing. Now this time when he called back, he dropped his price by $2 million.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, he dropped the price by $2 million.
8 months will do something to a motivated seller.
See, this property that we're talking about, this property is where everyone goes to take their wedding pictures at. It's like
Man, and just to mention, this is something crazy. Tyler Perry tried to buy the property from him. Was that 2 years? Or was that 2 years ago? Yeah, he got an offer from Tyler Perry. He wouldn't sell it.
Why you didn't? So something happened within the 2 years that made him.
What happened was, that's why I say you have to just be in the game.
Right.
Timing is everything.
Timing and everything.
The seller we're actually great friends now. We
Really good.
On the way here, he called us and said, "Hey, I got some more deals for you." Once you call.
Shit, if you giving them $3.something million, I'll be a
The thing is that the seller, he's not pressed for money. The guy is somebody in the area. He has hospitals named
after him. He has all kind of endowments, all kind of stuff. This property is located in Mississippi.
In Mississippi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Two black men about to make $4 million
in Mississippi.
The ancestors smiling on me. Big cheese. That's man.
It's literally burning.
Yeah, it's burning. Yeah. Mississippi has been good to us. Yeah, real good. Yeah.
My point that I was making is that about being in the game is that he flats out tells us right now. He says, "Look, you just caught an old man at the right time."
You guys plan on selling? You already have buyers lined up for it, I'm assuming.
We have a lot of people interested. You know, we just going for, at this point, we're going for the highest side.
If anybody out there got an extra $13 million laying around, you know where to go.
You know where to go.
You're going to make your money back.
Definitely make your money.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
As a matter of fact, kick it up to 15, man. I'll take $1 million.
Yeah, but split the $1 million.
Shit, man. Let me put some financing together, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And you know, it's the crazy part. We've developed such a good relationship with him. Yeah. He gave us something. This is crazy, and this is crazy. He owns part of a bank.
He started the bank.
He started the bank before the guys.
Man.
You know what type of wealth he's talking?
Yeah.
This is the type of wealth that we're now seeing.
And he's working with you guys.
And he's working. He's we have some kind. Yeah, he wants to do deals with us. Yeah. He's a good guy too. You know, good talk. He's older guy. He talks a lot. Just when you get on the phone, just be prepared. Stay on that phone for a while.
Yeah, grab your tea.
Yeah. Be prepared. Yeah. Be prepared. He ain't seen us on FaceTime. He ain't seen us on FaceTime. He sure has. Secure the bag first.
Closing day. Make sure y'all show up the closing day.
We plan on going down to see the property
after it's done.
Listen, man, that'll be
God done threw you
a hoop. Yeah, we took it and dunked it.
Man, y'all got a lot of game, man, in this land space. I didn't even realize how deep the land game really was, man. You know, it's a lot of nuances, a lot of things to look out for, a lot of potential opportunities. And one thing that I say a lot is, you know, wealth is all about opportunities. The wealthiest people are the ones who are able to take advantage of the most and the biggest opportunities. And the only way for you to be able to take advantage of opportunities is for you to know it exists and know how to execute it. You know what I mean? Know how to do it. So, I mean, this is a clear-cut example. As we drive past these properties every day.
Let me tell you, when we first started, I used to, you know, when you're not aware of something. You don't know what you don't know. It just doesn't exist. I used to drive past all this stuff and look at it with no value in my head. I'm going past it, and all this time, people have been killing it all this time.
Quietly.
Didn't even know.
Never hear about it.
Never hear about it.
Until you see buildings getting built. You driving past all this land, you're like, oh man, you know how often, especially here, we're in the DC DMV area, and I'm sure y'all see it up there as well. You driving down the road, and then next thing you know, a year later, you see buildings, and then you talk about how, man, I remember 5 years ago, all you used to be land. Now it's shopping centers, all this other stuff. And somebody made millions of dollars on that transition from it being just land to being, I mean, all the way through, from the person who wholesaled or sold or bought that property to the person who developed it to the person who now, actually owns the building.
100%.
All day and there, millions of dollars transition just on that drive home from your work, on your daily commute.
100%.
The biggest part in your land business is going to be credibility, because people want to know
Who they're doing business with. Yeah,
So
sure.
in the beginning, we used to get a lot of, is this a scam?
It's a scam, yeah. All the time. It's getting aggravating in the beginning, yeah.
So what were some of those ways you guys established that credibility? Website, things like that?
Website. Well, on your letter that we send out, you're going to tell them who you are. You're going to put your name, your phone number, your website. Please do your due diligence by checking us out. And as we kept going and the more and more things that we got, the website started to look more and more credible.
Testimonials. Oh, wow. So, I mean, I guess you do make people money at the end of the day, so it doesn't hurt to give me quick 15, 30-second video.
It goes a long way.
A tremendous amount. I'm looking forward to learning more from you brothers, man. For real, I know we're gonna keep it going. Definitely something that we're gonna chop it up about and actually sit down and work with you guys, because I know that there's a lot of opportunities for funding deals and things like that. I'm assuming, so we could definitely do something together. We will do something together.
Working on,
we're working on a 112-acre deal right now ourselves. So I think it's gonna be dope. Cheat Code Estates coming soon. Make sure y'all tap that in.
But we will be once the course is fully completed.
Oh, of course.
We are looking for funders because we want to be able to fund all our students deal. So anybody that decides to deal with the AcreBoyzz will be able to get your deals funded. If it's not directly through us, it'll be from one of our funders.
Investors.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, for sure, man. So let people know where they can find you guys, how they can connect with you more, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Social media handles.
Social media, primarily Instagram, AcreBoyzz with 2 Z's on the end. That's where you can find us at if you want to check out the website to see some of the pieces that we currently have for sale. That will be jcllandhub.com, and you can get that from Instagram as well. And that's where we want to.
That's what it's at. All right, man. Listen.
Get the e-ball.
And on top of that, these brothers are putting together a master class, master course. By the time this comes out, it probably will be done. If not, it'll be around soon. Once you click the link in the bio for the ebook, we're going to make sure we send out information about that course to you guys as well, man, because I think everybody should know this information. Most importantly, those within our community, 98% of land in America is owned by white Americans. Nothing against our brothers on that side.
98% is crazy.
But at the end of the day,
98% is crazy.
It's crazy. There is
80%.
Listen, we are 13% of the population as our demographic. There's another 7% of Asian Americans or 5% Asian Americans, another 15% Hispanic. The fact of the matter is there's not a lot of diversity in land ownership, and there's definitely not a lot of diversity in land investments and things of that nature. So this is a critical information for y'all to pay attention to and learn and master so that you can take advantage of those opportunities. You never know where your 260-acre oil deal may be sitting around you. You just don't know.
You might be driving past it every day.
You might be driving past it every day, so you got to make sure you master this information, man. So.
Definitely, man.
I appreciate you guys.
I learned a lot, man. I learned too much. I learned too much, but I got a lot more to learn. You know what I'm saying?
As always, man, Cheat Code Unlocked. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a motherfucking friend. Let's go, man.
Let's go.
See y'all next week.
Let's go, y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
Just give me the cheat code.